Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today you find me out on another walk, recreating a walk that I did about 4 weeks ago. Interestingly, I headed off in that direction following the footpath, which is now clearly labelled not a footpath. So we are not going to go that way. We're going to head back the way that I walked last time. So we're in Patching Woods, just north of Worthing and northwest of Clapham village. We're still in the district of Clapham. I wouldn't classify this as Clapham Woods, but we're still in Clapham, and you could say we're in Clapham Woods, just not the ones that attract so much attention. So the reason I'm recreating this video is that when I filmed it, I got home and found that all my footage was on the SD card but was unreadable. So I'm filming this on a phone rather than on the camera, hoping I will be able to keep this footage. My previous video, I was looking for the remains of Mitchell Grove House. Mitchell Grove House, in its heyday, was said to be one of the finest in the country. I don't know whether it was, because it was demolished in 1828 by the 12th Duke of Norfolk. So all we have is the drawings of the house that people have drawn. Whether they're accurate, who knows. How old they are, don't know. Apparently it was demolished because it was so splendid. It outshone Arundel Castle, where the Duke of Norfolk resided in those days. In this area now, Arundel Castle is the best example of a castle, and probably one of the best in the country, other than the ones that have sitting royals in. And so I guess demolishing it was the right thing for the Duke of Norfolk. So what interested me about where we're walking now is that we're in a wood which I would classify as like a forestry wood. As you can see, all the trees planted in a fairly regimented pattern, all of the same type. They all look like they've been coppiced, so they grow straight, and there's lots of piles of timber around in the area. So there's also lots of signs in the area that say that this area is being used for forestry. Also a lot of pheasants in this area, as you can probably hear. So what stands out about where I am right now is that these trees, like the others, are beech trees, but as you can see, much older examples. Uncoppiced, as you can see by that one. There's several branches going up. Same with that one and that one. These, as you can see by the size of the trunk, are much older, and this area has quite a lot of history. Not just in the last couple of centuries, but going back thousands of years. Don't know how old these are, but they've been left alone They've not been cut down, and they form a seam that runs through the forest. So I was attracted to it because up ahead is a fallen tree, a really old fallen tree, and I stopped to fly the drone at said tree, and the fact that I'd lost all my footage off the previous camera is it is unusual. It's never happened before, but it's possible it could happen. However, when I stopped to fly the drone at this tree, I couldn't get the camera to work on the drone. It's never happened before. Again, two slightly unusual things at the same time. Could be a coincidence. So I persevered. I ended up flying the drone. I got 0 footage back from the drone. You should be able to record it onto an SD card or record it onto the device that you're watching it with. Both had nothing on them. Could be user error, possibly, don't know. However, when I was trying to set the drone up, trying to make it record, the forest was absolutely silent. I hadn't seen a single soul that day. Completely empty. It's not a particularly walked forest because of its location, but you do see dog walkers often, horse riders. You also see deer here. And as I was setting up the camera or the drone, there was a loud stampede. I don't know how to describe it. It sounded like, my first impressions were it was a jogger, a very heavy jogger, and I could hear the pounding of the ground coming closer to me, and it stopped just on the other side of that tree. So as you can see, it's a significant tree, and in my mind I thought it's just another jogger. Maybe he's catching his breath, getting a drink, don't know. But I was conscious that I was hidden behind this trunk, and that if I walked out, I'd make him jump. So I had to stop filming because of the children, like me, were attracted to the fallen tree. It stands out like a sore thumb in these woods. It had made its own clearing in the area, probably from its tree canopy. As you can see, there's not a lot growing in the surrounding area. When it was upright, it would have been pretty magnificent as a tree, standalone. So going back to my original story, I was setting the drone up on that branch there and heard something very heavy-footed running from that direction. It could be a horse, could be a really big jogger, certainly not an average sized person, and sounded like they were running down a hill. That thud where you're trying to slow down the gravity essentially pulling you down the hill, and it stopped in that area on the other side of the tree. Because I was being shielded by the tree from whoever was standing there, I carried on doing what I was going to do, and thought that maybe they would walk past. I didn't want to say something and make them jump because they wouldn't be able to see me here. But after about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I walked around this area, this side of the tree, to fly the drone in the clearest area, try and get it up through the canopy, and there's nobody here. So somebody could have walked off, but as you can probably hear, a lot of dead leaves on the ground, so would have thought I would have heard somebody walk off. So be interested to hear your views if you'd had similar experiences in this part of the forest. Hoping I'm going to get this footage. I'm going to head off in this direction and continue my walk, and go back to my previous reason for coming to this area. Try and find the site of Mitchell Grove House. If you did want to see my other video, please visit my channel and have a look. There'll be a separate video on me trying to find those ruins. So I'm going to stop talking and just carry on walking down this path. So, I believe we've come to the end of this pathway and this stream of trees. As you can see, heading that direction, apart from those two older trees, the rest of it is either pine or a tree that's being used for harvesting. The same going that way. Interesting place, or area, this area is, if you haven't heard of Clapham Woods, Clapham Woods is, some say, the most haunted forest in the country. One of its standout features is a tree not too dissimilar from this, bigger and older, which they call the witching tree. I haven't done a video on that. It's something that I do plan to do at some point, but there are plenty of videos because of its history over Clapham Woods, so I'd recommend checking some of those out. Just search up in YouTube Clapham Woods or the witching tree and I'm sure you'll find it. So I'm going to end this video here and move on to the next one. Thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed it, and please check out some of the other videos on the channel.